welcome back to Beauty Bee and to an anti-haul. So that's your warning. This is going to be a negative video. If you prefer those sorts of videos where we're talking about new releases in a really positive way, maybe saying, I am not planning to buy this, but I can see that people would love it. It seems like a really lovely product. This isn't the video for you, but I do have one. It will be linked up in the cards. This is just a couple of weeks old, and it is extremely, overwhelmingly positive. This video, though, we're going to go through 10 items that have come out somewhat recently, I think in the last 6 or 7 weeks, however long it's been since I last filmed one of these videos, and just talking about what I don't like about them. I think we'll start out with a few items that aren't terrible, but they are stupidly and ridiculously expensive for what they are. Let's start out actually by me scooching over so I can actually input images, but let's start out with the Anastasia Iced Out collection. Now, the highlighter was a little bit disappointing to me when I learned that it had a gold shift. I mean, how many white with a little bit of a gold shift highlighters are there out there? I wish if they were going to go with this theme of Iced Out that they would have made it maybe shift a little blue or a little purple. The thing that really gets me though is this clear gloss. I may be in the minority here, but I don't think there's that big of a difference between different gloss formulas. I think you can definitely find quite nice glosses at the drugstore. However, if I was going to buy an expensive lip gloss, it would not be a clear $20 lip gloss. I could see if this was a particularly interesting shade or something you couldn't get anywhere else. I'm not sure how you would come up with a gloss that fits that, but you know, if they could, I could see why someone would be willing to pay $20 for it. For a clear gloss with Anastasia packaging, not so much. So the lighting changed on me and I had to adjust. Hopefully it's not too distracting and it worked out okay. The second item I want to talk about are the new Bomb Brows pencils from Huda Beauty. I mean, it's a brow pencil. It's pretty inoffensive. It has a really tiny tip. I think the problem for me is that you would go through these so quickly. I'm not sure how long it would last, and I suspect that if you worked out the cost per use, it would be pretty terrible. So now we're moving from things that are just too expensive for what they are into things that I just dislike. Starting off with Too Faced. What do they think they're doing? I am not the biggest prude. It doesn't matter to me if you have a risque name. However, I certainly don't want the phrase lady balls emblazoned on my lipstick. That looks awful. I wouldn't even care if this was like a little sticker at the bottom that I could remove or would be of a size that no one else could see. But shining on the tube, no. And overall, these are such cute lipsticks. If they didn't have this name all over them, I could be into them. I think the little heart shape is cute. They seem to come in some really pretty colors, and I've heard really good things about some of Too Faced lipsticks in the past, but I just cannot get past the name of these things and how largely they've displayed it on their packaging. That's ridiculous. I cannot imagine someone paying Too Faced prices for lipstick that at least I personally wouldn't be comfortable at all pulling out to reapply during the day. That's bizarre to me. Next up we have Violet Voss's new Cherry palette. This is repetitive and it also just seems very 2018. I feel like we've seen this before, we've seen it done better, we've seen it done in more interesting ways, and there are just too many repeat colors here. Also, hate to break it to you, Violet Voss, but your packaging just isn't cute. Maybe that's a really petty gripe to have. I mean, I know it is. Let's not put maybe in there. But it's just not pretty. And if I'm going to spend $42 on something, I want it to look nice. It's a dated concept, it's a dated color scheme, and the packaging is just not up to snuff anymore. I think this one is a really big miss. Let's talk about a couple other palettes that I just don't like. I feel like this is going to be an unpopular opinion, but I really don't like the Natasha Denona Circo Loco palette that debuted, I think, yesterday as I'm filming this on Trendmood. I just don't like this color scheme at all. I think it's ugly. The theme of this palette just makes me think clown. I mean, it's the Crazy Circus palette, right? And it's got this diamond design that feels very gesture-like to me personally. The colors inside the palette are a little too primary for my liking. These are definitely not the types of shades I go for. And as I'm looking at it, I just don't know what I would even do with this palette. I mean, there are shades in there that I would use in conjunction with other colors, but I couldn't see myself making a full look out of this palette ever. If you feel differently, I would love to hear what you would like to do with this palette, because I just have no ideas with this one. Okay, so you know how we were just talking about me not really liking primary colors very much? Here we have this Blockbuster palette from Hot Top. To me, this is just ugly. I don't like these kinds of colors. I don't like all matte palettes. I would very rarely do an all matte look. I am far more likely to go all shimmer than all matte. And it's Hot Topic, so you know the quality is probably not going to be very good. Also, I'm not quite sure who this is meant to appeal to. Is this meant to appeal to like teenage girls who don't remember Blockbuster? Because I do remember going to Blockbuster, and I can't say I really enjoyed it. I can't say that's a source of nostalgia for me, though maybe it is for some people. I don't get this. I don't like it, and of course, like everything else in this video, I'm not going to be buying it. I think we've got the palettes out of the way. One more eyeshadow thing I wanted to talk about, though, are these Milk eyeshadow crayons. Really, they are eyelids, cheeks, lips, or beyond crayons, but with most of these colors, I think they're intended to be used primarily on the lids. I mean, there are some pinks, there are some browns, and some sort of highlight shades that maybe people would use over a greater area of their face, but I'm thinking mostly eyelids. They're kind of expensive, they're $14. They keep talking about this recyclable and reusable packaging, but it seems like the draw of these is that you can take them with you, and if I'm on the go, I'm probably not going to be recycling a tiny little strip of paper that I've torn off of the crayon. Also, they sell the packaging and the crayon in a set, and it doesn't seem, at least for now, like they have any immediate plans to start selling just the crayons. So what's the point so what's the purpose of having reusable packaging if you're going to sell a new crayon each time? I just don't get this. It seems more gimmick than innovation. And honestly, even the colors that they've come out with aren't super interesting to me. Melt is coming out with these mini sets. I can really get behind the red lipstick set. I think that if you are someone who wants more than one or two red lipsticks, it might actually make a lot of sense to get them in a mini set like this. You would have a pretty wide variety. And if you like the Melt formula, I haven't tried it, but if it's one of your favorites, I think this could actually be a really good little set. The nudes I'm not as sold on. I just can't see one person really utilizing this wide of a range of nudes, so it might make a lot more sense to just get one full-size nude lipstick in a color that really works for you. But the reason that this release is in this video is this eyeshadow stack. This is way bulkier than a 5-pan needs to be. It's also more expensive than it needs to be, and these are such standard colors. Melt's quality seems to be somewhat hit or miss, but I've always felt, at least, like you are paying for the artistic element to Melt, not so much the actual product. And these are still expensive. they're clunky and they're not that artistically interesting. Even for me, this is a little bit too basic, and goodness knows that I love basic makeup and especially basic eyeshadow. One more thing and then we'll save the worst for last. These are the Physicians Formula kits for COVID. I just hate that these exist. No, I do not want a Physicians Formula branded face mask or reusable gloves. The hand sanitizer and hand cream and lip mask are fine, but overall, no, absolutely not. And I just hate that this even exists. I want to be able to use makeup as an escape, not to think more about the situation we're currently in. And finally, this entire Jeffree Star Blood Sugar Anniversary palette. Now, the first reason that this is in the anti-haul is because it's from Jeffree Star. But let's push Mr. Starkey aside for a second and just look at the makeup. And I don't like it either. We have this little Neapolitan ice cream highlighter palette with a pop of orange, which I feel like that's very 2018-ish to have that white, pink, bronze highlighter palette. I guess the blood sugar palette in white packaging is fine. Again, nothing I'm super drawn to, but I can see why someone who liked Jeffree Star might want that. Their original palette was getting a little older, or they'd used up some shades, whatever. What I don't get are the other two elements of this collection. First, we have this 9-pan palette that has only one shade that's not in the original blood sugar. Now, first of all, who wants most of blood sugar but hasn't bought it already in the, what is it, 2 or 3 years that it's been out? Are you trying to bring in people who already own blood sugar by adding this glittery red shade? If so, who's falling for that? Again, there's his face on the packaging, which doesn't appeal to me, but maybe that is a draw for some people. But what I really, really don't get is this mini liquid lipstick vault. Who wants 25 mini matte liquid lipsticks? That in itself seems like a very 2017 release to me. I feel like liquid lipsticks are on the decline anyway. That does not seem to be something that people are super into. All of these repetitive shades, I know they are not exactly identical, but they're close enough that you probably wouldn't see a big difference in real life, and certainly looks that you could do with one of the lipsticks, you could achieve something very similar with another. And I assume that this is aimed at people who buy every single Jeffree Star release. I can't say I understand that mindset for any brand, in particular Jeffree Star, but these aren't even all new, and buying things that you already have is always a bit of a turnoff to me. I don't understand this. This whole release feels like it should have come out in 2018 with the original blood sugar. I don't know who would want this now, even if the Jeffree Star name wasn't attached to it. It just doesn't seem like a 2021 release. Okay, so I have 50 seconds to wrap up this video. Thank you so much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed, and I hope you consider liking and subscribing if you did. I will link my more positive video from a couple weeks ago, as well as some more negative videos if you, like me, are someone who feeds off of that kind of energy. Thanks again for watching, and I hope I'll see you next time. Bye!